Kevin here. Welcome to the live video. I wanted to come on and talk to you guys about snowboard boots. I recently picked up my snowboard boots for the upcoming season, and snowboard boots are such an important purchase when it comes to getting yourself ready for the season. So I wanted to talk to you guys about why I bought these boots, and if you guys have any questions about snowboard boots as well, I thought it'd be a great opportunity for you guys to come into the chat, ask me anything about snowboard boots, and just really talk about everything there is to know about kind of finding that perfect pair for you. Over the years, I've rode many different types of snowboard boots, many different brands. I think in the beginning of my snowboarding, I was wearing a lot of, I mostly rode Burton snowboard boots. That was kind of like my go-to for at least, I don't know, maybe the first 10 years at least was always wearing Burtons. Then I got on to 32s and was wearing 32 boots for maybe 5 years. And then after that, kind of dabbled around with a few other brands, and then finally got settled onto Vans snowboard boots. So Vans definitely became my favorite, and been riding Vans now for probably like 6 or 7 years. So I want to take you guys through what model Vans I got, do like a kind of a little unboxing, maybe show you some of the parts of the boot I think are really cool, and then also talk about what you should look for when buying snowboard boots. Quick shout out to everyone who's already jumped into the chat. Grills, Jose Bautista, what's up, man? Laura's in the chat. Laura with a quick question: how often should you change your snowboard boots? It kind of depends on how much you ride. So for me, I'm riding year round, so I probably change my boots twice a year, like every 6 months. All right, so maybe I will get into the unboxing here and then talk about these boots, why I chose them, and then we can get into some questions as well. But yeah, stoked to be on the live with you guys. Drop your questions. If you want your question highlighted, just hit that super chat button. Awesome way to guarantee your question gets answered, and a good way to support. Also, drop a like on this video, subscribe, and hit the bell so you get notified every time I do go live. So, first things first, let's unbox these boots right here. So I did pick up a pair of Vans. These are the High Standard Pros. So I've actually been riding these for a few years. Let's get into it. The size of my boots are a 9.5. So my shoe size is a 10.5. So I do go down one full size. So if you're thinking about boots, I do recommend going down one size compared to your shoes. All right, so we've got the boots under here somewhere. All right, I guess we can just take out one. All right, it's a pretty nice feeling to get a fresh pair of boots. All right, so this is the Vans High Standard Pro. I have had, at least 10 pairs actually of this boot right here. So just looking at it off the start, a few things that I like about it. It's got the traditional laces here. So I feel like the traditional laces just give you a very comfortable and secure lacing system. Also, if you break one of these laces, it's super easy, obviously, to replace because laces are everywhere. You can do it in the day, or that morning. If you're out for a morning of riding, you break a lace, you can just, swap it out. Yeah, the softness of the lace means that as you're tightening it, you're getting like a soft kind of material, getting tight around your ankle and foot. And then also, with the laces too, I find that throughout the day of riding, you only have to do up the laces once. You're not going down to your boots multiple times to tighten them up. After you do them once, you're usually good. You might be thinking, okay, it's hard to do up the laces. But you also have this power strap at the top, and this strap up top is like super good at once you're done doing your laces up, just pulling it across and getting that tightness right at the top. And for me, this is the most important area right here at the shin, is that everything right there gets nice and tight. So this strap at the top does an amazing job just kind of like cinching you into the boot. Another thing I really like about the High Standard Pros is they do have this kind of bit of, it's almost like a rubbery material at the toe. And this part of the boot in particular does get a lot of wear, because when you're sitting on the chairlift, you might, naturally just rest your board on your boot. And I've found that this kind of little bit of extra durability on the toe does keep the boot in good shape. And I've never had like any wear on my toe right here. Even with your toe strap on this part, it doesn't like wear. So you want this to protect the boot, but also to keep water out. That this kind of little bit of protection there does a really good job. The other thing I noticed about these boots is that it has, when you go to, when you're flexing the boot, so it's hard to flex it, but there's kind of like notched out section of material here so that it does flex like more naturally. So the materials aren't bending against each other. You have this like little cutout section here so it can flex naturally. What else? So I really like the tread on the boot too. So you can see that the boot does have a decent amount of tread to it. And I find that like up on the mountain, when I'm doing like hikes, there's gonna be a few times a month, or maybe even a few times a week, where I'm like hiking up something that might be a little bit icy or maybe slightly steep, and you want some good tread. So I do look for a good tread on my snowboard boot, and this one has a really nice looking tread on it. So yeah, a few things right there. There's a couple little eyelets here for a little bit of ventilation, which is important. But yeah, so I think the style of this boot is pretty nice too, just like this classic Vans style. Let's open it up. A few other little things about the boots is that these are, I would say, mid-flex, so like a 5 out of 10. They're not like overly stiff or overly soft. To me, they're like right in the middle. And even though I do like my boots to be a little bit soft, I find that if I start with like a mid-flex boot, then it just will soften up naturally over time. So let's get this part loosened up. You also have the inner kind of system inside that you got to loosen. So this is a good thing too. I mean, when you do get your own pair of boots, I would say it's a good thing just to pull them apart, and you can inspect what's going on inside the boot. So again, these ones are a little bit stiffer because it's brand new. So this part of the boot is like the shell. This is what gives it the stiffness, waterproofness, obviously. Enables you to tighten it up, and then also the tread. So you kind of got the outer shell, and then in here you have your boots liner. And I really like the Vans liners for lots of reasons. So one, they have this kind of like half moon shape right here, and this is designed so that when you put your foot in, your heel is going to sit right in this part, and these kind of like this half moon sort of material, which is like nice and soft. I guess they call it the X cage, but this is kind of designed to keep your heel in place, which is really important in snowboard boots, because oftentimes you can get like your heel lifting up out of the boot if they're too loose, or if you don't have a good liner. But with this one, with this like X cage design, it really helps to just like keep your heel right there. This material is also nice and soft. It's got a little bit of rigidity to it. If you open it up, oh, I got like some the instruction manual. Got some cardboard here. And then, yeah, looking inside the boot too. Oh yeah, so the Vans also have some Velcro right here too, so that when you do put your foot in, you got this like Velcro patch to kind of keep it in place so it can kind of stay hugged to your ankle. And then way down on the inside here, you have your footbed. So you pull this guy out, to it, which is nice. So for landings, for just the overall comfort of your ride, it's good to have like a cushiony footbed. And you'll see like you can do this in the store, like pull out the footbed and take a look at it. But in my opinion, like the Vans footbeds are thicker than most, and yeah, that's really important for just the overall comfort of your ride. And so, yeah, these Vans hasn't just, put together a random boot. They've actually put some thought into it. So to me, this footbed, it's got some cushion to it, and it's thinner towards your toes, but you're not really needing the thickness out there. You kind of want the thickness back around your heel. So you got the footbed, got the liner, and you got the shell. A good tip too is like if you are ever just riding, and if you don't want your boots to start to smell, you just take everything apart at the end of the day of riding so that everything can completely dry out. And I'm pretty sure that the boots have some like anti-odor like protection going on with them, but this is kind of like a good extra bit because yeah, even if you don't think your boots are wet, oftentimes either your sweat is making them wet or just a bit of water might leak in. But you can see the size down there, 9.5 men's. And yeah, my shoe size is 10.5. So I go down one full size. All right, so I'm gonna put this boot back together if I can. Yeah, and you can really feel too, in the liner, you can really feel, you can probably see too, how the material kind of comes in so that it can hug the bottom of your ankle and really hold your heel in place. Cool, so a few tips if you are trying on snowboard boots for the first time. One is to wear a pair of snowboard socks to try on the boot. So if you never had snowboard socks, that's kind of a good place to start. Snowboard socks are great because they come up past the top of the liner. So yeah, you're kind of getting some protection from any uncomfortable rubbing. So having a long snowboard sock, and then they're probably going to be a little bit thicker than your just like at-home socks. So it's good to try snowboard boots on with snowboard socks. Also, when you are trying on snowboard boots, you do want the tip of your toes to actually be like touching the end of the liner here. This part is a little bit tricky, like where you do want your toes to touch. So if these are my toes, and they're on the inside, it's good to have them touch, but you don't want them to be like all like curled up like this, because even though snowboard boots might pack out a little bit, they're not going to pack out so much that if you've got like toe pain in the store, it's probably not going to go away. It's probably going to continue on the mountain. So a little bit of pressure on the toes, but nothing that's like giving you pain. I think that's kind of like a good rule. Also, the other thing, and why it's good to try on snowboard boots in the store, is that depending on like the size of your feet, like either the width of your feet or like kind of like how high, I guess, like fat your feet are, like this way, you might want to try like a few different pairs on so that you get the right kind of like width and like height for your foot. So for my foot, this one is like just fits like super well. This like, I think this is called like the toe box. This toe box area is narrow enough. It kind of gives me just some snug support without any pain. Also, this whole liner too is like very comfortable, so that I'm not getting any pain down the side of my foot. There's no pain on the top, and even the footbed, the amount of like raised section of the footbed is giving me just enough arch support. So all things that you kind of have to feel out for your own foot. So I'm going to put the liner back into the shell of the boot here. And when you are putting this back together, it's important to have everything loose. That's going to allow you to get the liner back in. It is hard with a brand new pair of boots, but it should just push back in with a little bit of force. And yeah, I do this not every time I snowboard, but most times I snowboard, I'm taking my boots apart. And yeah, it's kind of like a good habit to get into. All right, I'll move the box out of the way. So next, I might, so in the store, you put your foot into the boot. You can kind of feel that there's a bit of like pressure touching at the end. And then the next thing you want to do is obviously do up the boot. So where you want to start is first start with the liner. So getting the liner kind of secured around your ankle. So these Vans have the Velcro that you can kind of get that tight. Then you want to go into the inner part. And you want to pull this guy up, which is going to tighten your foot. Tighten up the liner on the inside. So you pull that, and then you pull this down. And then you might have to do it a couple times. It's going to lock in place. And then this bit, just, slide it underneath the tongue. Once you got that inner part done up, you can kind of stand up in the boot, push your knee forward, kind of work your foot around in the boot. And you want to kind of drive, you kind of want to be like rocking in the boot a little bit so that your foot settles into the boot and that you've got your like heel sitting right back in here. And then, yeah, with the traditional laces, I mean, usually I can do up my laces in, I don't know how long, 30 seconds. So yeah, let's see how long it takes. I mean, this is just me doing up some laces just on the spot here without my foot in it. But, for the comfort of traditional laces and the convenience of like being able to replace it if it does break, to me, it's worth it for the traditional, but I do understand why people love the BOAs and the Speed Zone. But for me, yeah, like in about 30 seconds, just with, the standard bow, you can get the boot done up. There you go. And then the power strap at the top, I actually put the lace underneath the power strap, feed it through the top, and now that top bit with your ankle, the power strap is just going to get cinched up and complete. So there you go. So yeah, when you try on the boot and you're rocking your foot back and forth and it's all done up, what I like to do as well is just like be in the boot for about 20 minutes. You can walk around the store, maybe look at some other stuff, moving your foot around, standing in your snowboard stance, and making sure that there's no pain. So a few places that I've found pain in the past, the first obvious part is if they're too small, your toes are going to start to get, feel a lot of pain, feel pretty painful. So yeah, you definitely don't want that. Definitely trim your toenails before you go too, just to make sure that that's not bothering you. But yeah, make sure that there's no toe pain. Around your heel as well, that there's no like pressure points or something digging into your heel. In a pair of Burton boots I've had in the past, there was something that was digging into my Achilles tendon. So feel out around your Achilles. And with 32 boots, I was getting pain on the side of my foot, kind of like all up and down the side. So yeah, feeling that there's no weird pressure points or things digging into the side of your foot or side of your ankle. Yeah, and if the boots are comfortable, you got a little bit of toe pressure, and there's not a lot of like movement happening inside the boot, then that could be the perfect boot for you. But yeah, this is my boot, the Vans High Standard Pro 9.5. And yeah, there's a link to it in the description, guys, if you want to check it out. Cool. So for the rest of the chat, let's get into some questions. Definitely hit me up with anything you guys have your mind on. I'll try to catch up on everything I've missed. Yeah, Lara, thanks again for hopping in. Luke Hayes is in the chat from Australia. Luke Hayes says he might get some High Standard Pros. Awesome, man. I think you'll love them. Jose asking, what do I think about the new Union boots? Would I try them out? Yeah, I mean, it's kind of cool that Union are getting into boots. I probably won't try them because I know that they go with the Union step-in bindings. And I got Clue as a sponsor of the channel, so probably won't try them anytime soon. We got Day Job Shredder in the chat. What's up, Day Job Shredder? Thanks for hopping in. Jose Bortisa, yeah, man, I'll get back to you today. Sorry about that. All right. Sparks says he's been looking for snowboard streams. Awesome. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, stick around, man. Yeah, I appreciate it. We do, I mean, at least one chat a week. But yeah, going for two a week this season. So, but yeah, thanks for hopping in. And yeah, he thinks the boots look dope. Yeah, that's another point. Important thing is that you get a pair of boots that you're stoked on how they look. So it's important. Bad Riders, new boot Wednesday. That's right, man. Day Job Shirt says, one reason I went with the Ride Lasso Pro boots. Great tread, and they're recycled Michelin tires for the rubber. Yeah, that's one really cool thing. They got the Michelin rubber at the base there. Alberto says, do you recommend buying insoles for your boots or not? I mean, in general. To be honest, like I don't, but I know that some people, you know, depending on your arch, you might need it. So I think that's like a personal thing. So if you do have like high arches, then you might need to buy an insole. Bad Rider says, my experience with Michelin tires is they don't offer much traction. Well, there you go. Day Job Shirt says, I like the design, very reminiscent of Vans shoes. Yeah, it's one of the reasons too I like the Vans boots is they do have a cool design. And I feel like too is like shoe companies that make snowboard boots, I feel like I have a little bit more trust in. I think that's pretty cool. So another reason to go for Vans. Alberto, so do you recommend buying a new footbed for your new boots? Yeah, again, so it's kind of just personal preference. Yeah, if you got those high arches. Or if you got real flat feet too. I'm not a foot doctor. I don't know the full extent, but yeah, if you're uncomfortable, then a footbed could help. Xfinia says, I've had Vans boots for years. That's the only shoe I wear and the only boots I wear. Their linerless boots are also super comfy. Yeah, I haven't tried the linerless ones, but those look like a good budget option for sure. Jose says, I usually get the Shred Soles one. Oh, cool. Nice. LGB says, any BOA recommendations? To be honest, I have not had great experience with BOAs, so I don't recommend them, but I know a lot of people do. So yeah, if you're somebody that likes the BOAs, maybe drop a recommendation. Ozzy says, once it's all done up, how squished should your big toe be? I think my boots are too small. Oh no. Yeah, I think I've had that overly squished big toe feeling before, and that's like, yeah, that's a bad sign. So if they're too small, you can try like heat molding them. or maybe if it's not too late to like return them to like a half size bigger. But I feel like when it's like overly squished, and yeah, that's not a good sign. So you can also maybe take them somewhere to get that, like they can like sometimes punch out a section. I know in skiing that's really just the norm, is you take your ski boots into like a ski fitter and they professionally punch them out. So that could be an option. Maven asking if I recommend. Yeah, I do recommend two boas. If you're going to go for boas, I would go for 2/1. So what happens with two boas is that you have one boa for the lower part of the boot and one boa for the upper, so you can kind of customize the upper from lower, because sometimes you do want the lower part of your boot to be a bit looser, and that looser on the bottom can give you like a more comfortable ride. If you ever feel like your feet are like hurting, it's often because of the lower part of the boot is too tight. And it's funny, like like I was talking to you guys about at the start of the live, how like the first 10 years of my like riding career, I was always in Burton boots. And honestly, my feet hurt like all the time. I was like constantly like foot pain. And then even in 32s, I think it got a little bit better before it got worse. But with the Vans, I've like never had a day of foot pain. So it's important to customize how you tighten the boot, and also just getting the right pair kind of really helps you with the pain too. Bryson, you're a goofy boarder, right? I am goofy, right foot first. Nick says, been watching you since high school and got my first board at the 2016 Capita Indoor Survival. You gave me all the confidence to try park and jumps and side hits for so much more fun ripping. Awesome, Nick. Dude, I'm stoked. Yeah, thanks for checking out the content since high school, and yeah, glad you're ripping around, man. What's your home mountain? KP says, I can never get the regular laces tight enough. Okay, yeah, I kind of understand that. That can be a thing. I think the strap at the top definitely kind of helps with that. Colm says, have you tried the phase system yet? I have not. I've seen them around though. Luke Hayes, great question, Luke. What's the best way to tell when you need a new pair of boots? I would say like the giveaway for needing a new pair is just when they become like too soft. So there is a point where you might be riding and then all of a sudden you just feel like there's zero support left in the boots. And so for me, when I start to have that feeling, when I'm just riding and I'm just like, yeah, my ankle and the boot is just flexing, like, feeling like it's at a 0 out of 10 in terms of flexibility and support, I feel like that's when it's time for some new ones. There could be some other things too, like if you do start to get some wear and tear in the boot, if like the boot does start to like, if you start to get water or snow like kind of leaking into the boot through some damage that's happened to it, the seams coming apart, that can be like a sign as well. But for me, the Vans boots, I feel like they're very durable. Like I haven't had them just like come apart, but it's like, yeah, it's when they do get too worked in and too soft. So that's why, like, for me, it's like 6 months of riding and it's time to get a new pair. Captain Man says, I like nitro boots. Awesome. Can you rate my new boots, please? Northwave Decade Hybrid. I have not seen those ones. Northwave is not that popular, I think. I mean, maybe it is somewhat popular, but I have not come across those boots. But yeah, hope you like them. Yakaya says, my toes don't touch the toe of the boot. Will this cause a problem? My feet don't move inside the boot, and it's very comfortable. My heels don't lift up either. I mean, yeah. I mean, if your heels don't lift, if it's comfortable, and your foot's not moving around, I feel like you're still good. You're all good, man. All right, Ethan, I'm an alpine racer. My boots are about 2 sizes too small for performance reasons. Though I have about pair for after race practice. Okay, dang, 2 sizes small. That's intense for racing. Good job though. Zarilla, how do I know if my boot pain is coming from my bindings or my boots? I mean, it's most likely the boots, but you can get foot pain also from bindings being too tight. So if you do find that, the boot's not, you suspect that it's not the boot, then it just might be that your bindings are too tight. So loosen off those bindings slightly and see if that helps. Day Job Shredder says, hey Kevin, I pulled the trigger on a Forum Recon board in 160 wide instead of the K2. Arrives this Friday. Awesome, Day Job Shredder. That's so cool. I'll have to look into that board. It's pretty sick that Forum is back. Very cool, Day Job Shredder. Nick Kirby, Keystone or A Basin would be the home mountain for me. What do you think about A Basin? I have not been there before, but I've heard lots of great things, and I think it's already open. It's I know Colorado has got a little bit of snow, and they are like renowned for opening earlier. Kazescu, it's an Italian brand. I think they sell products in Europe. Yeah, that's what my impression, Northwave. Yeah, I've seen the Northwave boot kind of branding and logo in some European snowboard movies for sure. Jeremy wants to know, Kevin, are there any tree runs at Sunshine or Lake Louise that are not too difficult? Definitely, yeah. I mean, in both those resorts, there's kind of a bit of trees that you can kind of go into between runs. If you're not totally familiar with the tree runs, it's good to have maybe a local show you, or, if it's very obvious, then you can kind of dip in. But there are lots of kind of, mellow trees off the sides of greens and blues. I would just make sure that, you know where it's going. So yeah, maybe kind of like try to scope it out through watching other people do it, or, going with somebody who knows the way. Douglas, best cheap board to get from the last few years, all mountain. I mean, every brand has got that board. Every brand has like those inexpensive all mountain boards. There's not one to me that like stands out as like one better than the next, but I would just go for one that you're stoked on, and just find a brand, get the right size for you. I think the last video, or maybe one of the last videos I put out, are all about snowboard types. So try to line up all those like characteristics of all mountain board that would be good for you, and then just look at that low price. Kosescu, what was your biggest snow injury? My biggest snow injury was like maybe 15 years ago. I landed upside down on my shoulder and had my AC joint separated, and I had to have a surgery for that. And even to this day, I still have like a little bit of pain in there. So that was the biggest one for me. All right, maybe we'll do a few more questions and then hop out of here. But yeah, appreciate 46. There's been around 50 people in the live the whole time. If you guys want to drop a like on the video, that'd be appreciated. Also, there's a link to the Vans below in the description if you guys want to check out these boots. It's a good idea too if you are looking for snowboard boots, maybe a a few more tips that I can just kind of think of off the top of my head. The best time to get snowboard boots is like early in the season, because quite often your size can get sold out. I find that, yeah, it becomes very hard later in the season to find like your specific size. So if you have a snowboard boot in mind, try to pick it up early before boots get sold out. And yeah, the more popular, I mean, actually, I don't really know. So my size 9.5, it is a popular size, so it tends to go quite soon. So I tried to pick these guys up as quickly as I could. Jeremy says, have you been out yet in Canada? No, I have not been riding this season in Canada yet, but I am back in Whistler mid-November. So yeah, hopefully Whistler Mountain opens early. Tuba says, how does the demo board rental work at resorts? Going to Keystone on Monday and not sure if I want to fly with my boards. So, I mean, it depends. So if you go into a shop and you're trying a demo board, sometimes you actually still have to pay like a rental price. But then if you decide to buy a board, then you get to put that money you spent on the demo day towards buying a board. So that's like one way they do it. Another way they do it is like sometimes there will be like, it will be a proper demo day with a brand with a tent demoing boards, and like those ones you can just take out for free and maybe just leave like a credit card. But I think typically it's the route where, yeah, you do pay for the demo and then that price goes towards buying a board. I ask you this because I also like extreme sports. I had 2 motorcycle accidents and now I have a small pains, but I haven't had them on a snowboard yet. I mean, yeah, snowboarding can be dangerous. That's why it's good too to wear all the protective gear, helmet. Depends on your injuries, but you can get other protection too, like wrist guards, impact shorts. Some people ride with a spine protector, so knee pads. So you can go all out with protection in snowboarding too. Day Job Shutter says, my boots are last season's boots and I got it early season for under 300. Awesome, man. Good deal. Another quick tip for boots too is like, I recommend getting the stiffness of the boot depending on the style of snowboarding that you want to do. So if you are more into like park and, maybe even just like riding slow or taking it mellow on the mountain, then you want to go for a softer snowboard boot. And then the opposite, if you're really into aggressive riding, fast, maybe like riding through, quickly through powder, or for example, racing even, then you want to go for a stiffer snowboard boot. So that stiffness and the rigidity is going to give you more stability for high speeds. So kind of like, yeah, helping you to stay more in control, where a softer boot is going to be more forgiving, for tricks and everything. Obviously, it's going to allow you to bend and kind of move a little bit more for getting into positions for tricks. And comfort-wise too, I think the softer boots are always going to be a bit more comfortable. That's why I like going for a mid flex, kind of can do a bit of everything. Mr. Melon Tiger says, yo man, love the vids. Awesome. Appreciate it. Yeah, thanks for watching. All right. Awesome, guys. So I might hop off the chat there, but if you guys still have some questions, definitely just hit me up below in the comments. And again, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Also hit the bell so you get notified every time that I go live. I'm going to be going live again this Friday as it's just going to be like a general live chat with like general questions. And yeah, it's an exciting time of the year too with the upcoming snowboard season. So I hope you guys are getting everything ready for the upcoming season. Hope you got your season pass bought. If you are getting one, hope you got all your gear ready. And yeah, also, if you guys want to support the channel, all my gear and sponsors are linked below. Shout out to my sponsors, Clue and Outdoor Master. So links to those guys below too. And if you guys pick up anything through the links for the gear, that helps with commission. So that's another awesome way to support. Or if you just, want to subscribe and leave comments and likes, that's another way too. But yeah, thank you guys all for tuning in. I hope you guys are having a good week, and I will catch you guys on here soon. All right, later everyone. Oh, last minute super chat from Tuba Tuba. Awesome. Good way to leave the chat on a super chat, man. Yo, you're dropping that little fox too, a little karate fox. Very cool. I wonder if I can like that. I cannot, but that's sick. Thank you, Tuba Tuba. All right, thanks everyone. Have a good one. Talk to you guys soon.